students. In this lecture we will study about the functions of kidneys. So first of all, which is the major function of kidney, is the urine formation. So urine formation involves three major steps, and these are: number one, ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration takes place in glomerulus of nephron, which is fitted inside the Bowman's capsule, which is a cup-shaped structure. So here it takes place in glomerulus. Glomerulus is also known as primary capillary network. So in the primary capillary network, which is glomerulus, here high pressure is created, and under this high pressure filtration of blood takes place, and this process is known as ultrafiltration. So ultrafiltration here the creation of high pressure is due to the lumen of afferent arteriole. This one is the afferent arteriole. It is afferent arteriole, and here you can see the lumen is wider. And here this one is the efferent arteriole, and here the lumen is narrow. So when afferent arteriole has wide lumen, then efferent arteriole, blood comes inside the glomerulus in more amount, but it goes out through this afferent arteriole in less amount. So here in the glomerulus, high pressure is created, and under this high pressure, filtration of blood takes place, and it is known as ultrafiltration. So the site for ultrafiltration is the glomerulus, which is present inside the Bowman capsule. This one is Bowman capsule. Bowman's capsule. And here it is glomerulus. So when the liquid part of blood, which is known as plasma along with many types of substances which are micromolecules or very small in size, such as glucose, amino acid, and different types of ions along with water, etc., comes through this glomerulus to the Bowman capsule, and from the wall of Bowman capsule, which is made up of epithelial tissue, again it is filtered, and then it comes in the space present in the Bowman capsule. So this process, means ultrafiltration, takes place twice. First time it takes place in the glomerulus, and then again filtration of blood takes place through the inner wall of glomerulus Bowman capsule, and in this way the liquid part of the blood along with many substances which may be useful as well as harmful comes inside the Bowman capsule, and then it goes to the renal tubule, and these substances which are moving through it is known as glomerular filtrate. So glomerular filtrate is not the urine, because it contains many useful as well as harmful substances. For example, here it contains water, glucose, amino acid, sodium ion, chloride ion, salts such as NaCl, KCl, etc. So a number of substances may be present here. Again here, urea, uric acid, etc. So here we can see water, glucose, amino acid, sodium ion, chloride ion. These are useful. But urea and uric acid, these are very harmful for the body, and we eliminate these substances from our body because these are the nitrogenous waste substance which may be toxic, which may be fatal if accumulation takes place. So glomerular filtrate contains all these substances and therefore it cannot be considered as urine. So here useful and harmful substances are present and it is known as glomerular filtrate. So glomerular filtrate comes in the first part of the renal tubule which is known as PCT. So the second function which is known as selective absorption, which is also known as reabsorption. It takes place in the PCT. PCT, which is the first part of renal tubule, and it stands for proximal convoluted tubule. So proximal convoluted tubule or PCT, it is the site of selective absorption or reabsorption. Here most of the water, glucose and Na plus ion, etc. are absorbed here. So absorption of most of the water, glucose, sodium ion, etc. takes place in the PCT and it is known as selective absorption or reabsorption. So only selected substances are absorbed by the wall of PCT or proximal convoluted tubule. This is the process in which a number of useful substances only, not the harmful substances, are absorbed. Now the third step involved during urine formation is the tubular secretion. Tubular secretion is the process in which excessive amount of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and some drugs such as antibiotics, etc. are poured in the blood. Poured in the tubular secretion. It is the third step involved in urine formation. Here, excessive amount of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, many type of drugs such as antibiotics, etc. are poured in the glomerular filtrate from the wall of DCT. So DCT, which is the distal convoluted tubule. It is the last part of renal tubule and here tubular secretion takes place. So here harmful substances are poured by the wall of DCT in the glomerular filtrate which is passing through it, and tubular secretion is the last step involved in urine formation. After it, the urine means now tubular secretion. After tubular secretion, glomerular filtrate is known as urine, and this urine is poured in the collecting duct. So in the collecting duct receives urine from many nephrons, and finally it is carried to the pelvis, and from the pelvis it is carried to ureter, because pelvis is the expanded part of the ureter, and this ureter carries urine from pelvis to urinary bladder. So, urinary bladder receives urine from the ureter, and after filling it, means when 1/3 part of urinary bladder is filled with urine, then certain neural signal or message comes from the brain to the sphincter muscle, and it relaxes, it contracts, and when contraction of sphincter muscle takes place, then the opening of urethra open, and it helps in urination or micturition. So here urine formation takes place in the nephron, and nephrons are the unit of kidneys. Now the second function, which is known as osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is the process of maintaining the balance of salt and water in the body, so that osmotic gradient can be maintained. It helps in osmosis of various substances in the body, different parts of the body, and therefore many biological processes, which are also known as life processes or metabolic activities, can take place smoothly in our body, and it helps in survival of the individual, survival of the organism. So osmoregulation, and third is homeostasis. Is homeostasis, and homeostasis is the ability of the body to maintain balanced and constant internal environment while dealing with the changes taking place in external environment. So homeostasis is again very important, so that our body maintains internal environment which helps in performing many metabolic activities, and in this way it helps in survival of the organism. So these are the three functions. First is urine formation, second is osmoregulation, and third is homeostasis. Now diuresis. Now diuresis. Diuresis means formation and removal of urine. The process of formation and removal of urine is known as diuresis. There are a number of chemical substances or substances which help in diuresis, means formation of more concentration of urine, and these are known as diuretics. So diuretics are the chemical substances or any type of food substances which helps in increasing the formation of urine and their removal. So here some of the examples are alcohol, tea, coffee, beverages, etc. So these are the substances which are known as diuretics. And antidiuretics. Antidiuretics are the substances which decrease the rate of formation of urine and their removal. So here examples are ADH and oxytocin. These are the two hormones which are secreted from posterior lobe of pituitary gland, and they decrease the formation of urine, and in this way these are known as antidiuretics. Now micturition. Micturition is also known as urination. The process of removal of urine from urinary bladder to outside of the body through the urethra under neural signal or neural influence is known as urination or micturition. So micturition or urination is the removal of or expelling out of urine from the body. Now dialysis. Dialysis is the process, or you can say it is artificial technique which helps in removal of or filtration hemodialysis or dialysis. Dialysis is the process by which artificial filtration of blood takes place. Artificial filtration of blood takes place by means of dialysis. So it is the process, it is also the technique which helps in filtration of blood. And dialyzer or dialysis machine. Dialyzer or dialysis machine help in dialysis process. If the person's kidney are not functioning properly, then filtration of blood in that particular person takes place artificially by means of dialyzer machine or dialysis machine, which is known as dialysis. It helps in survival of the organism, survival of the individual. Now, significance of excretion. Significance of excretion. Excretion helps in removal of nitrogenous substances such as urea, uric acid, etc. from outside body. It also helps in maintaining salt and water balance in the body. And it helps in increasing the ability of the internal body so that internal environment inside the body can be maintained. Now, significance of excretion. Excretion helps in removal of nitrogenous waste substances, nitrogenous waste products from our body. It also helps in maintaining salt and water concentration in the body. And third, it helps in balancing the internal environment of the body while it is dealing with the changes taking place in the external environment. So this is known as homeostasis. And also it helps in removal of excessive amount of water from the body. So excretion is very important metabolic activities in the body. There are a number of substances may be present in the urine sometimes, and these are the abnormal conditions like glycosuria. Glycosuria means if blood contains glycosuria. Glycosuria means the urine contains glucose or sugar. So if urine contains glucose or sugar, then it is known as glycosuria. It takes place in the patients which are suffering with diabetes mellitus. Second is hematuria. It is a condition in which urine contains blood, and therefore it is known as hematuria. It is caused due to some infection in the prostate gland or in the kidneys or in the urinary bladder. Sometimes it may be caused due to kidney stones. So hematuria is a condition in which urine contains blood. Ketonuria. Ketonuria is the condition in which urine contains ketones. Sometimes the urine may contains two different types of pigments, yellow pigments, which are known as bilirubin and biliverdin. So sometimes this condition may take place. Urine may contains bilirubin and biliverdin. In case of hepatitis, so hepatitis is also known as jaundice, and in case of jaundice, urine may contains bilirubin and biliverdin. These are the two yellow pigments. In this way, we have studied the functions of kidneys, which are urine formation, number 2 osmoregulation, and number 3 homeostasis, and also the conditions in which different types of abnormal substances may be present, and these are glycosuria, hematuria, ketonuria, and sometimes in the hepatitis, urine may contains bilirubin and biliverdin, which are the yellow pigment. Now, one more important thing. As you know, the color of urine is slight yellow. What is the reason? What is the reason of it? So urine is slight yellow in color due to presence of urochrome. Urochrome, which is a yellow pigment, and it is present, and therefore urine color So urochrome provides urine color which is slightly yellow, or you can say clear yellow. But sometimes it may be variable. It is based on the food substances eaten by the person, and also when less water is taken by the person, then again concentration of urine is more, and in this condition urochrome is also present in the urine is more. That's why it may be darker in color, but always the urine is clear yellow. In summer, sweating takes place and a lot of water is removed from the body during sweating. But in winter, sweating is not taking place, or if taking place, very less, so that water is removed from the body mostly through the urine, and therefore there is frequent urination taking place in the winter than in summer. Here again, second thing, in the summer the concentration of urine is more. The same reason, water is released, removed from the body during the process of urination. In winter, the concentration of urine is less because sweating does not take place, and therefore most of the water is removed from the body through the urine, and as a result it is more dilute than in summer. Thank you, students.